What's up, internet? My name is Megan. Thank you so much for choosing to hang out with me. I am excited to tell you the story of why I decided to get a second Australian Shepherd, and then kind of what I've learned along the way and how they are together today. So with that being said, I would have to kick the story off with Keed. He is my original baby. He is about a year and 4 months now, and he was, what, like a year when we got Mosey. Something that I really was very certain about was I wanted to make sure that Keed would be well trained before we got a second dog. Keed does listen well. He has an e-collar. His recall's really great. I wanted to make sure that if I had both of them outside, I could focus the majority of my attention on the puppy and not have to worry about Keed so much. And then the other thing about Keed is he loves to play. He grew up in an apartment building with a bunch of other dogs, so we knew that he would be absolutely over the moon if he had a brother of his own. That's kind of a little bit about him. Like I said, he was neutered already. He was well trained and reliable and dependent, and he loves to play, so we knew he'd love having a brother. Okay, so now some info on our decision-making process. We, number one, wanted to make sure that we would be financially stable enough to support 2 dogs. I know that obviously having 2 dogs means twice the expenses, but you really should map that out for yourself and be able to visualize the amount of money another dog is. It's easy to say like, oh, it's just I'll buy an extra bag of food and a few more like treats and toys, but it really is twice the amount of vet bills, twice the food, twice the like risk and liability. Thankfully, none of my dogs have gotten like seriously injured, but there's always that chance that something could happen, and you have to keep that in mind that it could happen like twice as frequently because you have 2. For some reason, Australian Shepherds also, or maybe it's just my 2, but I think this might be a breed thing, they get dermatitis, so their paws will get itchy sometimes, and we have to buy like medicated wipes and fish oil to put on top of their food. So make sure that if you're getting a second dog or just an Australian Shepherd in general, you're aware of like their health risks. I mean, there's not many, but just do your research, be well versed in the breed. Another factor that went into the decision of getting a second Australian Shepherd was that we had already been very disciplined in training Keed. So we had a schedule, we kind of knew, or we had based our days around the fact that we're both homebodies. We don't really go out a lot. We don't travel a lot. Obviously, there's a global pandemic going on, so we weren't gonna go anywhere. But we were already in a good routine of training Keed, so we figured if we got another dog, we would be kind of already in the flow for that. If there was ever a time in our lives to really focus on training a dog, why not just do it for 2 dogs? So that's kind of the timing aspect of it. So then the second thing about getting another Australian Shepherd that we factored in was that it wouldn't really add more to our plate. Although raising puppies is a ton of work, I don't want to downplay that at all. We basically just got through it. I mean, we're not all the way through it, but Mosey's 6 months old now, so we're through the worst of it in terms of raising a puppy. It's so hard, it's so time consuming. You're so tired at first, but now that we have made it to the point where he is fully potty trained, we're working on training with him, it isn't really more work having 2. We've just started letting Mosey be outside of his crate when we leave for short periods of time. We do know that when we leave and they're together, they can at least play together. It just kind of makes me feel a little bit better. Other than that, it isn't more like effort to have 2. Like I said, Mosey is 6 months old now. Keed is about a year and like 4 months, I think. And things are honestly really great. They're best friends, they play together, it is so funny. Mosey is like a super vocal dog in general, so if we don't wake up in the morning fast enough, he will howl, and as soon as he's howling, Keed gets right up and howls with him, and they're howling together to get us out of bed, but it's just really cute. They're definitely partners in crime. So yeah, if you're thinking about getting a second Australian Shepherd, I would, number one, make sure you are financially in a great position to support both of them. Aussies are just a little bit adventurous, and God forbid anything went wrong or anybody got hurt, but you just have to kind of prepare for the worst financially, just so nothing sneaks up on you. Make sure that getting 2 will fit with your lifestyle. If your 1 dog is very, very chill, then you are number 1 blessed. And number 2, you just always have to know that you don't know a dog's personality until you get to know them for a little bit. So puppies are very permanent decisions, and you need to make sure that if that dog ends up being super high energy, that you are able to support that. The third thing I would be aware of before getting another dog or another Australian Shepherd is the level of training that your puppy will be able to see from the older dog. Mosey does everything that Keed does, so if Keed was really poorly trained, Mosey would just do the same thing. So it has actually come in handy for us that Keed is so well trained, because Mosey picks up on recall and commands really quickly, and that has been a huge blessing. So if you are in a place where your dog will be a good example for your puppy, then I would say go for it. I guess the other thing I should mention is that 2 dogs is double the hair. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. We don't have a problem with hair, thankfully. I do have to say, when the seasons change though, and they go from like their winter coat to their spring coat, that's probably gonna be a headache for us, but nothing that a couple vacuum days can't fix. But I guess that's just another thing to keep in mind, is that 2 dogs is double the hair. Other than that, we have had a great experience having 2 Australian Shepherds. They are the highlight of my day every day. They are so dang goofy and funny and loving and sweet and super smart and a little bit mischievous at the same time, but I wouldn't have it any other way. If you have any questions about what raising 1 or 2 Australian Shepherds are like, I would love to connect with you. This definitely will not be my last video about Aussies, so if you enjoyed this, please hit subscribe. It lets me know that you like what I'm doing, and if you could give this video a thumbs up as well so that more Aussie owners can see it, that would mean the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for stopping by. I so appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.